What if Deku was reincarnated as an Alicorn in My Little Pony? As they would open the doors and they would walk in, as we see Twilight just scrolling through her books. Where is it? Where is it? As she's scrolling, looking for a certain book, as Spike would be in there. Twilight, what are you looking for? Why, it's a book that was about Alicorn magic. I wanted to learn more about it. I knew I saw it a while ago. She's just tossing books as Applejack and Rainbow Dash would come in there. Hey, Twilight! As she would be up on a ladder just trying to find a book. Or she's just scrolling with her magic, just flying looking for a book. What is it, Applejack? I got someone here that would be interesting for you to meet. 1 second, I'm currently looking for a book on some more Alicorn magic. As she's just dropping some as Spike's just running around and grabbing them. Hey, you're dropping a whole lot. As he sets the stack down, as another one just pops him on the head. Ow! As she'd finally pull out an old book about Alicorn magic. Ah, here it is. As she would fly down to the ground, as Rainbow Dash would just go in front of her. Come on, we've got someone very important for you to meet. Really? As Rainbow Dash would get out of Twilight's way, as she would see Deku. Another Alicorn? As she would be in shock. As, you're another Alicorn. Yes, my name is Izuku. I come from far past the Forever Free Forest. How'd you get here? Well, I came through the Forever Free Forest. There happened to have been a nasty storm, and I kind of ended up in the Forever Free Forest. It's nice to meet you, Princess Twilight. As she would shake hooves. Nice to meet you too. Name is Izuku. Nice to meet you, Izuku. It's very odd seeing another Alicorn around. I come from far away. Is there any other Alicorns out there? Twilight gets curious. No. Not that I have met. You're the first I've met. As this would surprise Twilight. Well, could you tell me about anything you've seen out there while you were beyond the Air-Free Forest? There was a war, as then everyone would have their interests. A war? It was. I managed to help settle the conflict. Wow, you settled a war? Yes. I had to use a lot of magic, as he's referring to the war in his past life. The heroes versus villain. But we eventually managed to beat the culprits of the war and settle things there. There was no use for me staying, so I decided to come further away. May I know what's your title? I'm the Princess of Friendship. That I'm curious myself, as he would look at his flank. As Twilight would notice it, what type of cutie mark is that? As she would look at it. Very interesting. What are all these gems around it? I'm not sure. I've been pondering that for my entire life, referring to when he got to the world. As I never knew what my name of my cutie mark was. Really? I found some clues, but I never know its name. That's odd. Most people know what their cutie marks are when they get them. Most. Mine is an exception. As Twilight would be interested, Spike, have you seen anything like this? As she then would notice, the same thing's on your... What is that? It's a type of cloth. It was made a while back. He literally just came to the world with it. Maybe if I were to analyze this, I could get some information. Maybe help you research it. But I've never seen a symbol like that. I'm going to need to go through my books. I'm going to need to find the Book of Ancient Cutie Marks. That's what I'm going to need to find. Spike, already on it. As Spike will be looking for it. But can you tell me what your journey was here? Well, I was traveling through the forever free forest when suddenly a fearsome storm happened. Of course, I was trying to fly through the storm instead of using the trees as cover as lightning was hitting the ground at a rapid rate. I had noticed, I think, a black Pegasus. I didn't see their face or their head, but I flew by them in the storm. A black Pegasus. Can't say I've met one. Well, I'm just interested in if you all did, because I was kind of interested if they were okay. I soon fell out of the sky and ended up into a cave. I also noticed my magic is quite powerful. As Twilight then looks, of course, Alicorns have an absurd amount of magic. Magic that can shape Equestria. As Deku would just think, magic that can shape Equestria? As she would look back at Twilight, or he would look back at Twilight. So our magic is very powerful. Very. In fact, follow me. As they would just walk around towards the table. This is where this table pretty much helps us pinpoint where people need help. I also run my own school. I think it was the Friendship of Magic School, if I remember. And why I'm the principal. I see. If I may ask, what are all of you doing? Like, why do you run Equestria? Keep it safe and balanced. Well, we like to keep the order, and everything here is peaceful. We barely have any conflicts. Just events. Hey, do you remember when, we didn't believe in Pinkie Pie and all those, sprites? Those things that multiplied and would pretty much devour everything. Was in, Ponyville. And we didn't believe her. Yeah, we should have believed her. Pinkie Pie's just crazy, Rainbow Dash says, but Twilight, Applejack, and Deku just looks at Rainbow Dash. Well, I guess I should change the topic now. Could you tell me what my purpose is? Purpose? Yes. For some reason, I felt like I was drawn to this place. Drawn? Interesting. Well, we're going to have to go to the Grand Galloping Gala here soon. But you can stay a few days before it's in a few days, so you can stay here as long as you like. I'll need to tell Celestia and Luna about this, though. The other princesses, correct? Yes. Well, I guess that's all right. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go to bed. I haven't slept in, I think, a day. Very well. There's an extra room down the hall to the left. Thank you very much. As Deku would leave the room. So, what did you think of him, Twilight? Well, it's very interesting to see another Alicorn. I thought we were the only ones. Which is like referring to her, Celestia, Luna, and Cadence. He's also quite tall for an Alicorn. He's probably taller than Celestia? About as tall as Celestia? Yeah. But anyway, where did y'all say you found him? We found him in the center of Ponyville. I was simply just heading back to Apple Anchors. Well, thank you for bringing him here, I suppose. It's very interesting to see another Alicorn. I'm definitely going to need to ask him more questions later. As Spike's still looking for that book, where is it? Now there's just a pile of books behind him, by the way. I'm also going to need to write a letter to Princess Celestia about this. Anyway, I'll make sure he's alright. Y'all two can go. As both Rainbow Dash and Applejack would leave. As Deku would walk into a room, as he would notice the bed, as he would get on it and just lay, as his mind would slowly sleep. As this is where he's just pulled into another, white room. Well, how have you been enjoying your little adventure? As we see him still in his Alicorn form. And we see just Fred just eating some popcorn. You never told me what I was here to do. You just sent me to this world with me not knowing anything, really. Hey, that's how things were gonna go. After all, that's the events that are supposed to play out. Events? You knew this was gonna happen? Not really. Most of this is speculation. I had a feeling it was gonna happen. But again, I'm the all-seeing Fred god. Fred? Yes. In fact, I'm in charge of overseeing your story. Or sorry, not story, your adventure. And then recording it all in this book here. You record this? Why, of course. Every event that is currently happening is essentially a planned event. Essentially, sometimes you don't know what's gonna happen. But your story is interesting. A great evil, or one or two, is coming to Equestria. You've already met one of them. What? 2 evils. And I've met one of them? That black... what was it? Alicorn. As in, that was an Alicorn in the storm? Yes, you met that one. Although it was only for a brief moment, you can't really see the person. But you met. And then the other one who is the main leader behind some things that will happen. Can you tell me so I can stop them? No, I can't do anything of the sorts. After all, what's the fun for me? After all, I'm more interested to see your power and how you handle things. But I'm not going to tell you when they strike. Or who the other one is. The only hint I'm giving you is that one of them is an Alicorn. Well, thank you. But could you tell me what my cutie mark is? Sorry, let me check. Nope, not supposed to say that either. Alright. Well, anyway, I'm sending you back. You should have at least a little bit of sleep. You'll still be asleep, of course, when I send you back. So, I hope you've enjoyed talking to the almighty Fred. But, our time is pretty short here in the dimension between worlds. How am I back here, by the way? Oh, I just simply managed to use some of my power to bring you here. Honestly, I was debating just rewriting, exploding the tree, bringing you back here, sending you back, repairing everything. But that felt like a little bit of an inconvenience, as then there's knocking heard at the door. You know, I've already talking too much. As you just snap, sending Deku back, he would wake up. Again. That person. And who was knocking at that door? As we go to Twilight, who's looking, as Spike had finally managed to find the book. Found it! It's a very large book. As he would set it down, it has several cutie marks on the cover. Of course, it has the image of the elements on the front as well. As Twilight would open it with her magic, as she would be scrolling, just reading the pages. As a few hours would pass, as she finally found it, the cutie mark of hope. The cutie mark of hope? Would that make him the Alicorn Prince of Hope? So that's what his cutie mark is. It's to represent hope. Is that how he ended a war? Twilight thinks. Well, he seemingly does have a lot of power and magic. I wonder what type of events may take place. I'll need to inform Celestia and Luna. Spike, as Spike already has a pen out, or like one of the feather pens and paper, a scroll. Dear Celestia, I had come across an Alicorn. He seemingly has the, well, cutie mark of hope. He had come from beyond the Forever Free Forest. My friends Applejack and Rainbow Dash had managed to find him in Ponyville. He had apparently showed up a little while. He seems to be interesting and doesn't really intend on going back. He apparently ended a war where he had come from. But he had knew nothing of all sorts of events. He seemed to have been isolated. He seems trustworthy and seems very honest. From your student, Twilight. Alright, Spike, as Spike would burn it, saying it to Celestia. As she's about to go to bed, she knows that Izuku is out. As he's at the kitchen and just makes himself something. As Twilight would walk, "You're up." "Yes, I was feeling a little bit hungry. I hadn't eaten much of anything. I'm just curious on a few things. If I may ask you a question, like I found your cutie mark." As he'd look over, "What is my cutie mark?" "Well, your cutie mark is the cutie mark of hope. Apparently, another Alicorn in the past, ancient past, had the same one. Although it's unclear on what its powers or what it represents, but it represents hope for the most part." "I see. I will be helping with you in this world. I must also inform you there is a great evil coming." As Twilight's eyes will open, "What?" "Two great evils are coming. One of them is an Alicorn." "I thought you said you didn't know any Alicorns." "Until I regained the memory of what happened me into the forest during the storm. I had finally managed to visualize and remember that person's face. It was an Alicorn who had caused that storm. I fear that she may come for Equestria." "Then we must prepare right away. I need to tell the princesses." "We can tell them when we arrive at Canterlot. And there's another one, but I have no clue on who is the other threat." "So there's two?" "Yes. All I know is one of them is an Alicorn. I do not know who the other one is." "Very well. This is very bad. I'm going to need to inform princesses right away." As Izuku looks up towards Twilight, "The time for panic is not now. Let's just prepare to tell the other princesses when we arrive at Canterlot here in a few days." "Very well. I'm going to head back to bed." As he would head back to bed, and Twilight would head to bed, and Celestia would get the letter, as Celestia is very intrigued. And that is the end of part 3 of What If Deku Was an Alicorn. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.